You shot straight, but you shot late. High living. This is the Rundown Podcast.
I'm gonna give you the rundown.
Justin Johnson, also known as Straight Draw, traveled to 2370 Airways Boulevard and killed Adolph Thornton Jr. Cornelius Smith traveled to 2370 Airways Boulevard and killed Adolph Thornton Jr. Hernandez Govan solicited both Justin Johnson, also known as Straight Draw, and Cornelius Smith to kill Adolph Thornton Jr. Jamarcus Johnson aided in Justin Johnson, also known as Straight Draw's, hideout and escape after the killing of Adolph Thornton Jr. Aided communication between Justin Johnson, also known as Straight Draw, and Cornelius Smith after the killing of Adolph Thornton Jr. and facilitated payments to Cornelius Smith for the killing of Adolph Thornton Jr. All of which is in violation of Tennessee Code Annotated 39-12-103 against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee, signed by the District Attorney General for the 30th Judicial District. This is the storefront of Makita's Cookies. This is the front of the store. This is its parking lot in front of it. Makita's Cookies. They sell butter cookies, basically. Some have icing on them. This is simple butter cookie. People say they're real good. In Memphis, they say they're fire. So we got a cookie store that sells fire butter cookies in the middle of the day at 12:21 in the afternoon.
Mr. Harry, you're standing in front of me.
You can stop it here first. Alright, so in 2021, people thought that was like a Lamborghini or something, because they hadn't seen the new Corvettes yet, really. They weren't around. That is in fact one of those new Corvettes. It has a special wrap on it, is what they call that. It's not something you can buy, from the dealership. You have to get that done yourself. Well, here that's a special wrap that the Memphis rapper artist, Young Dolph, had on several of his vehicles. A couple times in this video we'll just have to wait, but it's a matter of seconds. You'll stop there first. Alright. This taller man here in the yellow shirt, blue jeans, white shoes. His name is Adolph Thornton Jr. You've heard me read it a couple times now. He grew up in Memphis. The neighborhood he grew up in was Castalia, not terribly far from this, also a neighborhood in South Memphis. You'll see a member of his family testify this week, and she'll trying to make it on your own is obviously hard. In this game, trying to make it on your own can create enemies. PRE, Paper Route Empire, his label, is not the only label in Memphis. He's not the only famous rapper in Memphis. Another label, CMG, Cocaine Music Group. and they became an enemy. They wanted Dolph under their label, but he turned down millions. I want to do it myself. The second time, they wanted Dolph under their label, but he turned down many millions. I want to do it myself. And in this game, whether it's smart or not, there are things called, it's in Memphis, we call them diss tracks, D-I-S-S. A rap where I may insult, level whatever sort of insults and everything else I want to in the song itself. And Dolph had plenty of those. And he had plenty of those directed at this other label, the Cocaine Music Group, at their artist, and at their number 2 person. His name is Big Jook, the number 2 person of Cocaine Music Group. Through the years, and I'm talking years before what we're going to watch, having nothing to do with Mr. Johnson on trial, there were highly publicized incidents of violence directed by CMG against Dolph. He even wrote songs about it. Bulletproof. 100 rounds. And he also spewed out the disses and the insults. Stop it there. This man here got out of the car with Dolph. That's his brother. His name's Marcus Thornton. His brother, his friend. This thing that we're about to watch has had a terrible impact on Marcus. Not just his brother and his friend, but he also works security for Dolph. In fact, as Marcus walks in this cookie store, he has a gun on his person, and he has another gun in the car. Dolph was well aware of the threats and the violence from CMG that were constantly hanging over him and his people. We'll wait 30 seconds. Stop it there. That car that just drove up came from this side of the parking lot. When Dolph turned it in, it went up to this light where it got stopped for a few seconds and then came around. It's a white Mercedes. There's other pictures where you'll be able to see it more clearly. But it's a white Mercedes with back end damage. back here on the back passenger side of the car. It's a stolen car. It's a stolen car that our defendant here, Justin Johnson, traded for one car for another at a gas station about 10 hours before this event happened. This man got out of the passenger side of the white Mercedes. Door's still open. We saw him run to the parking lot. He's here with a large semi-automatic weapon. He's in a hoodie. He's got sweatpants, and he's got white shoes. We'll see a second man come out of the car too. Those two men that we're going to see come out of the car, they're going to gun Dolph down. He's inside the business. He has walked over to sort of where the bathrooms are in the business. He's as close as I am to y'all. There's the window, and he's getting shot through the window. Both of these men will shoot. This one in particular, it looks like he's never shot this type of gun before. It's because he probably hadn't. The second man out of the car who's driving is our defendant, Justin Johnson. Neither one of these men are professional hitmen. It looks like they don't take tactical shooting stances because they don't. Let's watch Mr. Johnson get out of the car. You can stop it here. This is Dolph here. Remember, he was wearing the yellow. This is Marcus. Remember, I told you he had a gun. He tries to return fire as these two men quickly shoot Dolph. Dolph's body's riddled with bullets. He shot all in the back, in the face, in the neck, in his arms. The first man out was Cornelius Smith, and he has that semi-automatic weapon, shooting wildly into Dolph. The second man out was Justin Johnson, who has a handgun, who's firing at Dolph as he lays on the ground. Shoot back. I'm going to spend some time with two things. This Mercedes, these two people, Justin and Cornelius, they didn't fall out of the sky on a Wednesday at 12:20 in the afternoon at a cookie store. They had been looking, they had followed them, and for them, this is just business. This was just business. They don't even know each other that well. Let's start with Cornelius. Cornelius is from this neighborhood, Orange Mound. He's in his early 30s now. Cornelius has had serious drug problem. He does ecstasy and Percocet. He gets his drugs over on Bradley Street, 2 miles from the scene, from a man whose name you have heard, Hernandez Govan. They don't call him that though, they call him Quette. His middle name is Marquette, and it's shortened to Quette. So Cornelius gets his drugs from Quette. We call an old head, older guy. lives in the neighborhood, lifelong criminal, in and out of jail through the years. Quette sells drugs. Quette gambles on sports. And then Quette tries to identify young rappers and tries to shop them to CMG, hoping to get a cut, hoping to hit it big. Years ago, he and his brother missed out on one of those big rappers. But Quette knew a young rapper who he was in the process of shopping to CMG. And that young rapper is Justin Johnson, who goes by Straight Drop. Sometimes I just call him Drop. So Quette's the common person. He knows Cornelius from the neighborhood, knows him well, sells him drugs. He knows Justin Johnson. He's trying to get him to be the next CMG rapper. But not just that. The business is not just rap. Because Big Jook, person I told you about before, that number 2 guy at CMG, he's put out a hit. A hit. $100,000 to whoever kills Dolph. He has met with Justin. He has met with Cornelius. And they think they're ready to do it. They're definitely willing to do it. For Cornelius, it would be 50 grand, I guess, that he could waste away on Percocets and ecstasy. For Justin, it's 50 grand, but also a chance to make it big with CMG. To become the next famous Memphis rapper. The Straight Drop. They were sent here. They were sent here. They're not professional hitmen. Not even monsters. I'm not going to call anybody a monster. This is just business for New City. Money for Cornelius, money and rap fame for Justin Johnson. They did the best they could, really. Stolen car. Better to use a stolen car that can't be traced back to me. When we still shot the video, you'll see that they're wearing gloves. Afterwards, the guns get disappeared. The car gets ditched in a neighborhood and wiped down and moved and wiped down and moved. Their plan is to go their separate ways and just disappear into Memphis. They did the best they could. I guess it could have gotten away with it. If you get the guns gone, if you get the car wiped down, get the car hidden for long enough, you're wearing masks, you're wearing hoodies, you're wearing gloves. Do it so quick, but it takes seconds. You get in, you get out, you get separate, you get disappeared, and I guess you get away with it. There's a problem there, though. There's a problem there. Still staring at us. One of the big problems. It's not 1981. It's not 1991. It's not even 2001 when I started in this building. It's 2021. It's 2021. And what I started talking to you about when I first stood up, what you didn't think about, what we don't think about almost ever anymore. These places have cameras. Places have cameras. There's the hotel lobby. It's walking into the building. It's this courtroom now. A lot of places that have cameras. And also what we don't think about, we didn't have to in 1981 or 91, whatever, is we carry phones around. Phones that can give people clues as to where we were, what was going on. We can wipe down cars. We can use stolen cars. We can get rid of guns. We can disappear in the neighborhoods. We can separate from each other. But it's 2021. Can we back up the video about 3 or 4 seconds? All right, we can stop there. All right, so what we saw before was this man first. Remember the one with the automatic weapon, the larger of the two weapons? He got out of the car first from the passenger side. He ran around and shot the gun wildly into Dolph. We're concerned in this trial, now Mr. Smith is charged with murder too. So is Mr. Govan. And we've heard that Jamarcus is charged with conspiracy, but in this trial, this is Justin Johnson's trial. This is Justin Johnson. He is wearing tennis shoes that have white soles. See this one better in this shot. White soles, they're black with a little white stripe. There are times in the video where you can see his socks, and they're white socks. He's wearing gray sweatpants. In fact, there's angles of the video that you can see that this gray sweatpant on this left leg has a little silver-like emblem on it, real small, it's shiny sometimes. He's wearing gloves. See it maybe better there. He's wearing a black hoodie. He's wearing a mask. And he's wearing a Bass Pro hat. Alright, so black tennis shoes. The white sole. White stripe up the middle of the tennis shoes. White socks. Gray sweatpants. There is a little emblem that you can see in some angles on the leg. Black hoodie. Here during the shooting he's wearing a mask. And he's got a Bass Pro hat. Bass Pro store is only not even a quarter of a mile from where we're sitting, right here. There's other angles and other still shots where you can clearly see it's a Bass Pro hat. And there's other angles where you can see the little emblem that he has on his sweatpants. Call on video here. There's a building in Memphis. This happens in the historic neighborhood itself, Orange Mound. Gray sweatpants, black hoodie, Bass Pro hat. In fact, you'll see picture after picture and video after video It's the same outfit he was wearing the night before. We'll see him in this outfit from 2 o'clock in the morning, same day, all the way up to leaving the building right before the killing. The exact same outfit as that man in the video. A guess as to what kind of car he got caught leaving it at the parking garage of this building. A white Mercedes with back end damage, just like the one we seen in the video less than an hour before. You can get rid of guns, you can wipe down cars, you can disappear in neighborhoods, but it's not 1981, it's 2021. And from 2 o'clock that morning to 12:23 the same day, he is caught again and again. And it's not just before the murder. Cornelius got shot. Can't tell in the video. He got shot in the shoulder. He needs medical attention, or at least need somebody to look at it. You'll see the text messages. You'll see the phone location type stuff. You'll see that Mr. Johnson and Mr. Smith, after they ditched the car in the neighborhood, they have another car waiting. That they go over to Mr. Johnson's cousin's apartment, an apartment complex that used to be called the Two-Lane Apartments here. Now it's called the Gospel Gardens Apartments. We're talking within 45 minutes of the killing. So we have the killing. Cornelius gets shot, ditch the car, get in Johnson's other car, and we go to Johnson's cousin's apartment, 2 lanes, so they can try to bandage up Cornelius, so Johnson can change his clothes, so they can try to get away and disappear. How do we know that? Well, their phones, but not just their phones, because again, it's not 1981. That apartment complex has video. You see them arrive in Johnson's other car, which is a white Expedition. You see them from distance walking into the apartment complex. You see Johnson's cousin directing them where to go. You see at this point Cornelius has his shirt pulled up weirdly because he's been shot in the shoulder. You see Johnson wearing the same clothes, the gray sweatpants, the black shoes, the black hoodie, the Bass Pro hat. You see him go inside the apartment. At some point you see Johnson come out. Someone else has brought him a change of clothes. You see Johnson get inside that car, inside the back seat of his friend's car, and change his clothes. No longer in the murder outfit. And you see them leave. To disappear almost. Because later that night, we see Johnson back at that big building called Crosstown. He's in his new clothes that his friend brought him at the apartment complex. And he goes to his apartment and he packs up, and you'll see him at the elevator with his suitcase and everything else, ready to get the heck out of town. The contract hit a big Jook. The hitman found and solicited Hernandez Govan, who they call Quette. The hitman, a druggie from the neighborhood, Cornelius, and the aspiring young rapper, Straight Drop. And they could have gotten away with it, but they didn't. What we watch up here is so quick. And we watch it and we call it violence. That's a man with a family and with a life who's laying at the edge there in the yellow, riddled with bullets, dead. We watch that and we call it violence. For Cornelius Smith and for Justin Johnson, it was just business. They call it business. What we do here this week, in here, we'll see the video plenty of times. We'll see the crosstown videos, the apartment videos, we saw still shots and everything else. What we do here this week together is not violence and it is not business, it's justice. And at the end of this, you will see that both Cornelius Smith and Justin Johnson are caught, and they're both guilty of murder. They're both guilty of conspiracy to commit murder. And Johnson, as he is a prior felon, is also guilty of convicted felon in possession of a handgun. And if being caught on video is not enough for you, you'll also hear it from Cornelius Smith's mouth. That's me with the assault rifle killing Dolph. And that's Justin with a handgun with me killing Dolph. Even he realizes he's just caught.
Thank you, Chuck. Say, hey man, it's OG Jucario. Now I'm back at you with another one. And I had to come side on the YouTube block with this young Dolph case that's taking place right now. That's right, the trial is going on for Justin Johnson, one of the alleged suspects, the shooters in the young Dolph murder, right? And right now it's a bunch of action going on, man. It's a bunch of, details that's been getting revealed so far, man. I'm talking about, it don't seem like everybody was far off from the fact that CMG had something to allegedly do with Dolph's murder. Because of what's already been stated, they're saying that Big Jook was the one that paid for the shooters to get rid of Dolph, but Big Jook had a middleman. And guess who mediated those funds between the shooters and Big Jook, right? This would be none other than Hernandez Govan, who they said was the mastermind. So allegedly he is the one that Jook gave the money to get Dolph out of here, because Jook, and Quette, as they call him, Hernandez Govan, or bet with Quette, because he likes to gamble, is what the courts are saying. They're saying they bet with Quette, Orange Mound Quette, also as they call him, another AKA. They're saying that him and Jook orchestrated, right, this whole get rid of Dolph idea. And guess what? These two guys who are alleged to be the shooters, Cornelius Memphis said to stay right in Orange Mound also, not too far from Hernandez Govan. And they're saying that Cornelius Smith had a drug problem, right? An addiction problem to pills, to X, right? And to perks. So he would allegedly get these pills from Quette. That's who they're saying supplied them. And obviously that's when the plan came into play. You know, Quette must have obviously, you know, like they say, recruited Cornelius Smith. And they're saying that Cornelius and Straight Drop didn't even know each other, right? And this is how they both came together, because Quette was connected with Straight Drop, right? Saying to, you know, want to put a big artist on. And Straight Drop was this big said artist, allegedly, coming up out of Memphis. And Quette, you know, looked at Straight Drop as a, you know, meal ticket, as the next big artist, big rapper to come out of Memphis. And they were banking on him. So, you know, this $100,000 that Jook was paying to Quette to pay the shooters to get rid of Dolph. So what the prosecution has said so far, check this out. They're saying that Big Jook, you know, who's now deceased, who happens to be Yo Gotti's big brother, right? They're saying he's the one that paid for the hit. I don't know if that's who they were calling Unc. I don't know who Jamarcus Johnson said that, you know, Unc was Jook or not. That hasn't came out. But, you know, this was definitely said. And so far, you know, the story is on track. The prosecution is saying CMG is definitely behind the murder of young Dolph. And guess what? Big Jook, who's now deceased, they never named Jook as, you know, a person of interest at all. You know what I mean? So, you know, I find that kind of, you know, maybe that was due to the powers that be. Maybe that was due to Gotti, right? For Jook's safety. But the word around town was that Jook got picked up for questioning. Okay? So since the word around Memphis was that Jook got picked up for questioning, obviously that had to be true, because this is what the prosecution, the state, is laying on the line, that Jook was the person who paid for Dolph to get knocked off. And we also got to remember, Jamarcus Johnson said he would testify against his own brother and say that, you know, those indeed were the same clothes. That's why, you know, the prosecution was laying that out exactly what, you know, Straight Drop was wearing, that Bass Pro hat. The prosecution is saying they definitely know that Straight Drop was wearing that Bass Pro Shop hat. Wow. Now we know what, you know, they know, because they never told us in the beginning what Straight Drop was actually wearing in that steel frame photo and what Cornelius was wearing. But now they, you know, made their point very clear. The state has said, Paul Hagerman has said that Straight Drop definitely had that Bass Pro Shop hat on with the pistol, right? And as I once suspected and speculated before, in court, they're showing the actual shooting of Dolph. And I would imagine with the family's permission, right? Because seeing and reliving something like that could be very tragic. Paul Hagerman and the state, they lay out a whole timeline of how these events went down, and they showed it in court, right? So piece by piece, he showed when Dolph pulled up, right? And Dolph jumps out. You know, he pauses it. He talks for a moment. Then he shows that, you know, Dolph is going inside Makita's. Then he shows Dolph's brother, Marcus. A lot of people thought he stayed in the car, but he actually got out the car. Marcus was not in the car. Marcus was in Makita's. He went in right after Dolph, and Hagerman said he was strapped. Hagerman told us that Marcus, young Dolph's brother, had a firearm on him, okay? Now, once inside of Makita's, it only takes about 30 seconds, and this is when the white Benz pulls up with alleged suspects, the shooters, Cornelius Smith and Justin Johnson, right? And so when Justin Johnson and Smith pull up, Smith is said to be one of the first ones out the car. He's out the passenger side, and obviously they're saying only 2 suspects in the car, so that means that Straight Drop, Justin Johnson, was driving that Benz. Now, keep in mind, you know, when you see those steel frame photos, you see the one in the Bass Pro hat. This is who the state is alleging Justin Johnson is. They're saying Straight Drop had the Bass Pro Shop hat on, right? And he was the one with the pistol, the handgun in his hand, and Cornelius was the one with the assault rifle who made it up to the storefront of Makita's Furs. So just as I believe they would show this Dolph footage in trial, because they had to get the point across to the jury and let them see what type of cold-hearted monsters these killers that straight drop Justin Johnson and Cornelius Smith are, right? So the prosecution did a good job of painting the picture as if, you know, these actually are the killers. But we heard plenty from Justin Johnson's lawyer, and he's saying that, hey, I gotta prove this. You know, my client's DNA was not in that white Benz. You don't actually have a clear photo of him doing the shooting. You know, they had the mask on, right? And like I said, they had that Bass Pro Shop hat on. So they're saying, look, you know, Justin Johnson's lawyer is basically saying you're going to have to prove that this is my client in this video, right? And, you know, the state then already said that we're going to hear Cornelius Smith say, as if he's testifying against Justin Johnson, that is definitely a straight drop. Then you also hear him say that the brother said he gonna identify straight drops clothes that he had on that day during the shooting in the video. This was said years ago. So if both of these guys do what they say they're gonna do, right, and identify straight drop as one of the shooters, and this is seeming like you know, Cornelius Smith is basically gonna own up to him being one of the shooters. So what is Cornelius Smith getting out of that? Because that's definitely what Paul Hagerman said that Cornelius is going to do. He's going to name straight drop as that other shooter, right? And the only way to do that is to name himself as the shooter. That's crazy, right? So the prosecution is basically saying that CMG is behind this whole thing, and that Govan was working with CMG, bringing them upcoming new artists, right, in hopes of being paid for the whole, you know, finder's fee of finding this new talent out of Memphis. So him and Jook was in business together, right? With, you know, being that it's under CMG umbrella. That's why CMG is being named by the prosecution. And they're saying that Justin Johnson was one of the shooters that they paid. So yeah, man, there's plenty much more to come. I'm still tuned in. I want y'all to stay locked in to OG Jucario TV, because this young Dolph murder trial is just kicking off. And say, man, hey man, it's a whole lot going on already. You hear me? So y'all keep it locked to OG Jucario TV for the latest in rap, hip hop, celebrity, and urban news. You're watching the Rundown Podcast. I appreciate everybody for spinning with me. I appreciate all my subscribers for sliding with your boy every time. And say, man, hey man, keep hitting that like button, keep hitting that subscribe button, and look, turn on post notification so we can slide whenever I get the drop. You already know what it is, man. It's deeper than Buddha, her, you hear me? And guess what? I'm gone.